Hey everyone, we're going to get started in just about 10 seconds here. If you'd like to throw in your camera for the beginning of this, amazing. It's a little lonely up here without seeing other people's faces and being able to see if people are following along. So I'm going to go ahead. Whoop, that's enough of that. We'll end that. Let me change my screen share. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I am the founder of Pictor and I run product and creative direction. We do these weekly demos so that we can share what we're working on with you and also answer questions. Nice to see some familiar faces. Ian, thanks for joining us every week. Greg, good to see you. Hey, Ishmael. Um, so today I thought it would be really fun to do something practical, which showcases a bunch of the different facets of Pictor, and that is make a most wanted poster. So we're going to use custom fonts, we're going to use some custom backgrounds, and we're going to go through, depending on time, the template build, as well as maybe a custom survey so we know who the most wanted person is, perhaps what their crime is that they're wanted for, or maybe the value that they're wanted for, as well as if we have time, then go into those global presets and design the look and feel of the entire event as well. Let me go ahead and get my desktop set up to better serve this conversation. Where's what I'm looking for? I'm going to move you up here. And we got some feedback last week. I was trying to showcase sort of how I work by having two windows side by side and moving things back and forth across them. But we did get feedback that there was a lot going on and things were a little bit small and too hard to see. Hey, Michael, how you doing? So today I am going to share one screen and bounce around in tabs a bit and go from there. So please provide feedback. If you have questions, please blurt out. I don't have eyes on the chat most of the time, so turning on your microphone and just chatting with us is the best way to correspond. And I will be kind of cold calling. Are you doing characters, Michael? Like I know you're just trying to focus. I will be doing some cold calling so that we can have decisions made throughout the group as well. So that way I'm not the one making all the decisions. So the assets that I'm imagining we're going to need is some Wild Wild West font, which I did grab before the call, a background, an overlay. We can do this with or without AI. So let's start here. I pulled some old papers from a stock library. And Ian, why don't you make the decision of which one we use? We have one, two, three, four, or five. Do you have a preference?
I like one.
You got it. One it
Thanks.
is. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. I'm going to actually download the real file here versus I typically download a preview. If it lets me, it's thinking about it. There it goes. So this way, we'll be able to let you use some of these assets after as well. Cool. So now let's go back into Pictor. Let's begin by setting up our event. I just want to confirm everyone can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Cool
Yeah.
beans. I'm going to go ahead and create new. It's important that we use the advanced functionality here. I'm going to call this most wanted, and I'm going to name it. I
Hey,
do.
Nick, sorry to interrupt. How do you know whether to use simple or advanced? Like, what's the difference?
Yep. So simple is going to be most of your quick start prompts. In that you can only add an overlay. You can't go into the template editor. You do have global style sets, but if you want to do something with surveys or anything custom, I would recommend advanced. As we move forward, simple is going to be the kind of stuff that you would use at a wedding or a private party. You know, your three frame photo strip, no changes, etc. It's going to be a really great way for your sort of plug and play one click launches. So one of the ways I like to name things is with year, month, date. This is just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. And I always like to say I am using a public facing account. So there may be times where I'm looking for things that I'm used to using that are in beta and are not here. So I may fumble a little bit, but then I will uh, break the code of silence and tell you the thing that's coming. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's go to our flow. In our flow stages, we have a media screen, which can start the experience. This is where we'll create our template in a moment. This is what will run the experience, and then we have a preview. So we call this our flow, top to bottom, and then each of these are a flow stage. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and remove everything we don't need, and I'm going to add something we do, which is a survey. So because we're going to use this to create our text. So um, should we do first name, last name? Let's do that. So or maybe like your nickname. I don't know. If we were really having fun, we'd bring in ChatGPT through a webhook and get like a wild, wild west bad boy name. But for now, let's just do your full name. Let's make this character limit 20. Let's add in, do we want to put in a most wanted value, like how much the reward is for, or do we want to just leave that as part of something that's Greg, you came on mic. Do you want to do another?
Put value in there, 100,000.
Well, do you want it to be a fixed value or do you want the person to determine how much they're worth?
I determined that'd be cool.
Okay, cool. And let's do single selection. And let's start the bidding at 1,000.
I like that. I like so that they don't have to spend time thinking about typing it in. They just pick one.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to go now into add a template. We're going to be creating a new template for this. Let's do a printable. So let's do a 4x6 vertical. And let's get started. So I'm going to call this wild. Well, let's just call it most wanted. I'm going to save it. I'm a frequent saver because I also have a tendency to Command R, or Command W by accident, and close a window. So now I'm going to start adding in some assets. So we know that we want to use that piece of paper that we picked out a moment ago. And you may not see my modal because I'm sharing a window versus the screen. So I went into my hard drive and grabbed that piece of paper. Something else that I would recommend, this is a very large file, so I'm actually going to go to tiny PNG. We're building this into our system, but it's not currently there. So we can take this JPEG and we can, oh, now it's telling me my file is too large. Okay. I'm going to run with it. Typically, I don't feel like making you guys watch me log into this, but typically I would reduce the file size here. But let's drop it in. Ian, since you picked this, do you want to have this look like it has, like it's a piece of paper on a piece of paper, or do you want me to go full bleed on this?
Yes, full bleed.
Okay, you got it. So I'm going to break designer rules. Don't tell any of my previous teachers and just stretch this out versus keeping the ratio. Great. Cool. And now since this is our back layer and I know it's going to be our back layer, I'm going to go ahead and lock this. Something else that we got requested that's coming very soon is the ability to name layers, which I'm excited about because it will be a great quality of life. So now we're going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up a most wanted poster. Circa 1865, just so this way I can see what's on it, right? So none of these really look like I was imagining, but let's start here. Okay. I'm going to simplify this, but here, maybe even something like this. Okay. So let's go back over here and I'm going to add text. I'm going to say most wanted. And if we pull from the side, that's going to enlarge the window. Whereas if I pull from a corner, that's going to enlarge the text. I'm going to go ahead and add a custom font. So I'm going to upload this from my desktop. So right now I am in a modal and I'm pulling this custom font. So we have Durango. Let me add a few of these other ones that I pulled a moment ago. When you're using free fonts, all sorts of fun things can happen. So I grabbed a few of them. And this way we can pick which ones, and if need be, we can skip between them. This actually has. Great. Okay, so for example, these two, for whatever reason, are not loading properly. So let's just bounce them. Okay, from what we see here, Greg, you feel in Nashville, Rewards, or Durango?
The Nashville looks good.
Great, cool. So let's go ahead and use that. And now we're going to close this up and let's open this across. And we want this to look like it's part of the paper. So I'm going to go over here, click off. And let's go to the layer and font. And I want to get to let's center this up so it's centered on the poster. And now let's create another text field. And we're going to make this the person's name. So I don't know if you remember, I made 20 characters. W is the largest or widest character most of the time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm going to enlarge this across so that the window is the full length. And now I'm going to go ahead and add this. Did everyone understand why I did that? So when we take our search
Yep.
question in a moment, it's going to drop in. Cool. So now I'm going to put this here. I'm going to center up that text. And I also, in another window over here, pulled some different color palettes. So instead of going a black, let's go this deep brown. And I have a third-party plugin that I use to just grab these so I can cut and paste them. But you have the hex codes here. So I made this color palette before we hopped on. And now I'm going to go back here. And these are the little details that I like doing that I think uh, make a difference, even though most people don't necessarily notice. Here, let's go. Whoops. I made a mistake. So it's bringing in that hex number. Here, let me grab it without the hex. There we go. Oh, did it? Sorry. Okay. Now we are going to change this to a token icon. So your full name. So in this, because it's in a funny font, it's coming in with all these different web dings. But this, if we were to change font, which we don't want to, you'll see that this is the token number. So I'm going to go back to my custom fonts. Let's add this in and see, cool. And that will replace it on the other side. So next up, let's add a capture. And I think we're going to go square for this capture so we can fit it on here. And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do a effect remove background. And I am going to also change the blend mode to multiply. So I look like I'm on top of this. So let's go ahead and set a preview image. I always like to use a recognizable face, so we can set a preview image in here. In theory, it's uploading. There we go. And we can view the preview. Great, cool. And then going back to our most wanted poster, we want to do dollar signs, reward. Okay, cool. So now let's go down here, and I think what we'll do is text, and let's do. We know that. I'm gonna go back to another font for now. We know that our number one font, our number one, or sorry, I should say our longest is 1 million. So I'm going to put that in. And we also know that the million starts with a dollar sign. I want to add $3 on either side. And this is an important thing. So since we are using one of these free fonts, we have to keep in mind that they may not have all of the items we need. So it may not have dollar signs. So for example, here it does not have dollar signs built in. Let's try one of these others. So ironically, this one has dollar signs, but it does not have numbers once again here. Okay, so we're gonna go, let's see what we have here. I'm just trying to find a font that may make sense here. Let's try to add one of these other ones again in a different format. And if we can't get this to work now with the fonts that I found online, we can just go ahead with the example and always come back. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Not exactly what I had in mind, but for the sake of this, let's go back to just a big bold font so that we can move on and you can see other parts of this workflow. And then I'm going to dupe this here and change this to the word reward. And does this have this character? I had wanted some sort of asterisk, but hyphen, no. And now I'm going to put this down at the bottom. And the reason I did this is because we're just kind of running out of space. We could massage this in different ways, but for the sake of this example, I'm just going to move forward with this. I'm going to save this. And let's go ahead and test it out. Oh, one other thing. I need to go ahead and put my token in here. For the reward amount. And I know in this case that we need $2 signs on the front and $3 signs after. Cool. So while that doesn't look pretty, it is going to swap in, and it should swap in up here too. I'm a little curious about these weird characters, but we'll see what happens. We could always modify. So I'm going to go and save this. I'm going to go into simulation mode. And my full name is Nicholas Rhodes. What do you guys think? How much am I worth?
I'm thinking it's got to be a million, man.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm not going to deny it. Let's go ahead and take the photo. Trying to look like a criminal. So there we go. So we have some issues with the bottom. I think the character there on the numbers is getting a little kerfuffled. And Nicholas Rhodes, in my opinion, is too small. But we can go and massage those later. So now let us go back over here. I want to just go ahead and edit this one more time. And what I'm going to do here is just remove the fancy part where I tried to put in extra dollar signs. And I'm going to go with a pre-existing font on this one as well to try and get us to the next zone. Let's go Oswald. Let's go bold. Let's go centered. Great. Save those changes. Okay. Next up, what we want to do is some custom AI stuff. So let's save this where we are. Let's go into our custom AI prompt builder. And this is going to be a little bit like a cooking show where we start this and then I jump to a finished one. But I do want people to see kind of how this works. So let's go ahead and pull our sample test image. Let's drop our gender. And if y'all want to just call out some adjectives for what we want our Wild Wild West to look like. So like, for example, sinister, criminal, from Wild Wild West, circa 1865. Cool. Anyone have a subject that they want to use? Maybe cowboy or bank robber.
Go cowboy.
Cool. Cowboy. What do we think their crime was?
Cattle heist.
Yeah, there you go.
Great. We want their pose to probably be waist up mug shot framing. Setting would be like I'm gonna say like against a white wall. Lighting, harsh flash, like a mug shot. Style mug shot. And what I want to do is see if we can get this to go full grayscale. So when we change the layering on this, it actually looks like it's printed on that paper. Grayscale, no color pigmentation. And let's go ahead and generate and see where we land. Can y'all shout out who's played with the custom prompt builder here in Pictor? Anyone? Who's played with a custom prompt builder in another app, whether it's ChatGPT or SnapPick or elsewhere?
Kayla and I have.
Yeah, I have.
Cool. Which platforms have you played with?
We were using ChatGPT through Breeze.
Cool. And did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it worked pretty well for the most part.
Cool. Were you getting great likenesses?
I mean, people look at it and they're like, "That's not me," and so we're like, "Well, it's an AI version of you." But I
Hmm.
thought for the most part we got pretty good likenesses. Um, but people still looked at it and they're like, "Well, that's not me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we weren't doing face swap, like we were doing full gen, right? Not just a face swap or that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So one of the things that I found, so interestingly, we've worked with the Spot My Photos guys, and our Gen AI is good enough that their Spot My Photos is picking up people as the same person. I do,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
creepy is I think the term you're looking for, but yes, creepy.
Also that, yes.
Yeah, it's like when I think about all the creepy things people are doing with AI, I love the fact that we're using the same technology to just do fun things. So hopefully we can fill the world with more fun things with generative AI than creepy things. But nonetheless, um, yeah, so our likenesses are, like I said, it's spot on enough that Spot My Photos is grabbing people. Also, interestingly, what I've found is that similar to when you hear your own voice, everyone else is like, that sounds just like you. But when you see your own generative AI, you don't feel like it looks exactly like you, and everyone else is going to tell you it does. So that's just something to keep in mind in general. So we're starting to get there. Let's do like holding a revolver, uh, or a revolver, and we could keep playing with this over and over again, and eventually we'll get where we want. But for the sake of now, whatever happens next, we're going to go with it.
Do each of these tests use credits?
They do. They do use credits.
So if you wanted him to look like more rugged, more beat up, it would be under which section? It would be like the subjects
Yeah, so interestingly, the way we've
or
set this up is
adjectives.
a little bit more like Mad Libs, so people have kind of context and clues about what to do. The reality is that you can put anything anywhere here. Um, so it's more along the lines of helping people who can't imagine just a string of words together so they know a place to put them. So you could put rugged here, 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 really kind of anywhere. I wouldn't do
Mm,
setting because or lighting because there are different words that we've added to help those. But for the most part, to answer your question, adjective is probably the best place to put it.
neat. Okay, thank you.
So let's add rugged, well-worn skin. I'm always thinking of like Jack Palance when he lights the match on his face. Um, Subject, and then
Hey, Nick, would it, in terms of building these prompts, is it helpful or hurtful to start referencing like real life movies or video games that have the look that you want? Would that help or hurt?
it's kind of hit or miss, right? It's like the data set that we've used is, the internet, and the internet's a place where, the louder you yell, the more and more um the reality becomes true. So if there is like, here, let's try it.
Like, there's a video game called Red Dead Redemption. What if you say, hey, like a character from Red Dead Redemption? I wonder if that would help or
Red,
it would
what?
make it worse. Red Dead Redemption?
Oh,
Red Dead,
gotcha.
yeah.
Interesting. So we can try it.
Or maybe there's a movie like there's a good Western or something like Clint Eastwood, like having those references to real life stuff. I wonder if it hurts or helps.
So let's just do this. So we're gonna run it right as is, and then I'm going to add here subject uh characterized as a protagonist from, and let's see what happens. So really any word you put in here is going to turn some lever, and it's just a matter of figuring out if the AI is like, oh yeah, we know what you mean, or we don't know what you mean. Interestingly, we had a pretty big client give us some stuff that they claimed that they made themselves and they wanted us to use it. And as I was playing with it and trying to get it through, we do a few levels on the outsnap side. This is we do a few levels of interpretation of images as we're starting to build our prompt so we know what words to use to better do it. And it came back and said in the style of blank artist. And so from that, I was like, oh, interesting. And I Googled the artist and they had just totally ripped off this other artist already. So that was a fun conversation to have with the client. So when we changed Red Dead Redemption, I don't know the game well enough, but it looks like it just changed the gun. It changed the jacket. Um, so I don't know the game well enough to know if those are on point or not, but you'll see it did make a change. So I'm going to go ahead and use this thumbnail and we're going to select this prompt to save that as our prompt. And this is Wild Wild West 1. I'm going to now go back over yonder and I'm going to select our image and I'm going to remove these from it for now. And I'm going to add an AI filter. I'm going to select my prompt, go to my custom prompts, and we're going to do Most Wanted 1.0, which is the one that we just did together. We're going to go ahead and create our output. And for the sake of this, I'm going to hide my original. I'm now going to come up here. We're going to size that up. And I'm going to, for starters, change my blend mode to multiply. And you'll see currently with multiply, it kind of like offsets the image itself. But what we could also do is add to this a background removal. And now this is where I start getting stupidly annoyingly fancy. I want something over the top of that image to make it look more real too. So I pulled some of these speckles. So this one is folded paper, but it's a little bit more than I want. Let's find similar for this. And I want something that has just a little bit of texture and just a little bit of color. So this is looking like a contender for now. But I don't want it to be overkill. So this might even be a little bit too much color. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and download it and we'll try it. And it may be overkill. So there's a lot of trial and error that happens in all of these, as you can tell. So I'm going to go back to my images. And also to note, we do have like this whole library through Unsplash of different types of texture that you could get. So you can find stuff in here that, for example, like this is going to have a really similar effect to what I'm doing. So what we can actually do is, just for the sake of this demo, we can pull one that was within, and then we'll use the other one on the other side. And I'm going to change the blend mode on this to screen. Oh, did my computer freeze? I think I overloaded Chrome. There we go. Okay. So save my changes. Okay, so that y'all don't have to wait for my Chrome to catch up. I'm just going to refresh real quick. Go back in, edit my template. And I'm going to set up this, oh, bummer. Okay, sorry guys. Thought I had saved more recently, but this is why I like saving a lot. Because if something does happen, you have your save. And let's center that. Great. And now I'm gonna just keep saving. I'm going to remove my modes again. I'm going to add my AI filter, select my prompt. We want one output. If we were getting fancy, we could also make another one that's a side view, and so we could have more mugshot looking. Blend mode, multiply, remove background, delete this, show hide the original, bounce this back up. Save my changes again, so if something happens, we don't have to redo it again. Go back to my images. I'm going to add an image. I'm going to add the one that I just downloaded. And I'm going to pull this over the top to give it some texture again. I'm going to save again. I'm going to go to my blend mode, and now I'm going to try screen. Nope, let's try multiply. And now it has given subtle over the top. It may be overkill, like I said. Let's go ahead, save it. And let's go ahead, save this. And we never finished this round, but let's go ahead, do a hard refresh here. And then let's run this, and then we'll spend the last 15 or so minutes updating the rest of the look and feel of the event. So Nicholas Rhodes. Capture my photo. And now this is AI, so we're not going to see it here. We'll come back for it in a moment. And while we're waiting for that to process in the sessions, let's go ahead and go to our global style settings. And now let's say for the background of every screen, we want to use this same paper. So as we're seeing here, we actually have some lines now. I hadn't thought of that before when we were choosing it. So what I'm going to do is just in another window, I'm going to open up Photoshop and quickly do a cropped version of that, which I will import again. So I'm just in another window in Photoshop, cropping out the white. And I'm also going to reduce that file size like we had talked about a moment ago as I export. And now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to reset this and grab and now upload the version. In theory. Oh, I apparently lied. I made it significantly larger, but for the time being, we're going to use it. Tiny PNG, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is such an incredible tool for making these files teeny tiny. So now we've set our background. So if I save this, bounce over here, we're immediately going to start seeing that come into play. But it's downloading a 35 meg file. So let's bounce back over here. Let's go ahead and also set our button colors. So going back over to our most wanted, I think we should have our primary buttons be this sort of like poo brown, for lack of a better name. So let's set our primary button color to that. Great. Let's set our text color on the non-primary to that. And let's go back over to our color palette. And I'm going to use this lighter to contrast for text. On this. And we can change our border radiuses and things like that, modal colors, etc. Save that. And now we can on each of these rounds. So something that's happening here, this is a known bug that we're actually fixing, is that because the serve actually no, this shouldn't be here. Let me if I change this modal color to this brown, that should change what's happening here, I believe. Yeah. So this is loading in a modal versus a normal background. This is something actually, we have a full UX UI for the front end coming out in the next 2 weeks update, knock on wood, and all of these little quality of life things have been taken care of. But so Nicholas Rhodes, 1 mil, and here you'll see now that paper is there. You see our button colors, but if I go back now and also add in, for example, a terms of service screen, we have the ability to override any of these, but it's taking on those colors that we had earlier as well. So now if I refresh this, we'll now see our terms of service screen with those modal colors as well. Neat. So let's go back over here to our sessions and view our output. And I'm going to open this in a new window just so I can zoom in on it. And so we have our most wanted, our tokenized text, the AI version of me, as well as the reward number. If I was going to go ahead and continue to do this, I would probably bring in some more elements like we saw in these items. So like stuff like this, these lines, some more text just to make it look realer. I would also perhaps add in a box around this with some sort of edging. I had done this in the other kind of 2.0 that I did. So I'm going to go back and just change that output here. And let's go back to my layers. Let's go to image. Oops, let's go to AI output rather, the settings. And we can change any of these settings we want. And here's that overlay as well. So at this point, I was wondering, does anyone have any questions? Is anyone still with us?
No questions.
No questions? Cool. Does anyone think that this is something that they can use?
This looks cool. This was
Oh
really cool,
yeah,
man.
for sure.
Gotcha. What are some other applications that you can imagine using the same kind of setup for that's not a most wanted photo or most wanted?
Well, we just did a baseball card. Well, it wasn't really a baseball card. It looked like a baseball card where we did an AI gen image and placed it on the same background. So we didn't want the we didn't want the background to change between images.
Right.
So we placed it on top of a ball field. So everybody was in the same spot on the ball field kind of thing.
Amazing.
We didn't do any blend modes or that sort of stuff, but I feel like that similar techniques could work that what you just demonstrated here.
Cool. Yeah, and I
My
think
immediate thought, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, please,
Oh,
Caleb.
my immediate thought is just all the holiday parties coming up for corporate stuff. So my thought was like using the blend mode and like snow and snow glow or like that kind of stuff is just popping into my mind.
Amazing. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen it, but this goes back to I think it was Ishmael who asked earlier, what are some of those simple modes? So going into, for example, Discover, I don't know if you've played with this, Kayla, for the holidays, but we have a simple kind of vintage holiday card as well as a snow globe.
I
And
love them.
and
Those are awesome.
who said I love them? Who was that?
Me, Kayla.
Kayla, if you want to see how fast this is to launch, if you want to give me a 3 second countdown, and then count from 10 down. Actually, you know what? This is silly. I'm just going to launch it.
Okay.
I get so excited that I want people to talk to me about it, but it's already launched. It's good to go.
That's
So,
so awesome.
and then you can go in and change your dates and things like that. But just so you can see how this works, all of these presets in the simple mode have their backgrounds, everything set up, agree to the terms of service. I can go ahead and take that photo, approve it. Can add multiple email addresses, share. And while that's thinking on that side, I will go and show you the kind of levers that you have in these simple modes. So in your AI settings, you can choose video, that's 4-frame GIF, video and images, or just images. When you choose your selection, you're able to add a overlay on them. Some of them have different ratios, some of them don't. So in order for this snow globe to work, it has to be a square. But you can also grab these. For example, if we just go back into our where's our most wanted? Well, let's just pull and go in here. I can add a new template and I could do, for example, an 8x6. We'll just go with this, a capture. Let's just do 1-to-1. And
And Nick, while you're doing that, just to share some other, I don't know, some ideas. I like brainstorming applications of this. So
yeah,
I've seen like when celebrities get arrested, there's a mugshot, they go viral. Maybe you can do that here. You can create mugshots for people, or
totally,
just straight up movie posters for movie launches.
100%. Yep. You could also use these for those magazine covers as well. So you can bring in now a snow globe output here and have any overlay you want on it. So you're not restricted to using the simple flow. You can bring in any of those AI outputs.
Mm, that's cool.
So going back to our snow globe, we can just check our output. And this, I believe we had it set for video and still images. So you've seen I've created 4 AI outputs as well as a looping GIF. So this is something that you can be pitching and selling and launching in seconds for an all digital workflow.
I love it.
Great. So something that I can't say enough is we love your feedback. If there are things that you want or features that you want, please do not hesitate to get in there. If there are custom prompts that you want, we do have now a tool that allows you to request a custom prompt, which you can click right here, which will launch that experience. This does have a handful of questions, so do be prepared to give us the information that we would need at that point. So you can open it and it's a web form. We're going to want to see the kind of things that you want, your budget ranges, etc. If there's a custom prompt that you want that you're willing to share with everyone in the world, you can go ahead and make the suggestion here and we'll pick those up as they get upvoted as well. Neat.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Nick.
you so much.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Cool.
Nick. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you everyone for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.